Guys, imagine it's 2 a.m. in the morning. You're standing alone on a desolate cemetery road, shrouded in fog with no one in sight. Suddenly, you see a bus approaching. You have to get on this bus because it's the only vehicle on that road and it's the last bus going to your home. Most people would definitely get on, right? But how would you feel if you knew that this bus isn't actually taking you home? It's going to take you somewhere else entirely, a place that will make your soul tremble. Because once you get there, you'll experience things so horrifying that you can't even imagine. Now, you've probably imagined all these things, right? But a passenger in China actually experienced this firsthand, saw it with his own eyes. And sometimes in life, you face situations where you need to trust your instincts and be very careful. Some of your decisions could put your life in extreme danger, while others could save you. And why am I saying all this? You'll find out by the end of this video. So this story begins, as I said, it's set in China. And guys, in China, there's a bus route number 375, which travels from Yuan Ming Yuan to Fragrant Hills. The distance between these two places isn't much. It's hardly 16 kilometers. And guys, it's a normal bus like any other, typically used by people to get home, but this one is for late night workers. And guys, on the night of November 14th, 1995, this bus was on its usual route. At one place, it saw some passengers standing there. They stopped the bus at a place called Summer Palace. 4 people were standing there. A couple who looked like husband and wife, an elderly woman, and a young man about 20 to 22 years old. They got on the bus, and as they boarded, they saw that inside the bus, there were only 2 people, the driver and the conductor. The couple took the seats behind the driver, and the elderly woman and the young man sat opposite each other. By this time, it was past 2 a.m. This was going to be the last trip of the night, meaning after this journey, the bus was supposed to head back to the depot. But guys, the fog was so dense that even with the headlights on, the driver couldn't see anything ahead. The visibility was 0, and there was a high risk of an accident. So the driver asked everyone for advice on whether they should take this route or another one. The conductor, the elderly woman, and the young man all confirmed that they should take a different route because anything could happen here. But the couple sitting behind the driver disagreed, insisting they continue on this route as it was only a few minutes away from their home and they would reach soon. This was the final turn of this route, after which the driver was going to drop all the passengers off at their homes. But the couple got off there. Now only 4 people remained on the bus. It was a dark night, the road was completely silent like a jungle, and there was no one in sight. The silence was so intense that there was no sound except the bus's engine. Nobody knew each other, so they couldn't talk to each other. They only had one option left: sit by the bus window and enjoy the cold breeze outside. The elderly woman was passing her time like this, and just then the driver suddenly braked. The young man was shocked and yelled at the driver for stopping in such a desolate place in the middle of the night. The driver turned around and said, "Look carefully, there are 3 people standing in the middle of the road, signaling the bus to stop." While the driver and the young man were talking, those 3 people boarded the bus, and seeing them, everyone on the bus was terrified, shocked to see what was happening. There was nothing wrong with those 3 people, but they were dressed in old royal attire, which looked very dirty, as if they had come from the ground or hadn't washed those clothes in years. And there was something else weird about them. The man in the middle had his arms around the others as if they were supporting him, or it seemed like he was very drunk and they were helping him home. But why were their clothes so different? As soon as they boarded the bus, the elderly woman was very shocked and uncomfortable. She told the conductor that something felt wrong about these 3 people, that she had a bad feeling about them. The conductor listened to her and said she could understand, but suggested that they might be from a nearby theatre and dressed for a performance. The elderly woman became even more uncomfortable and alert, questioning why the conductor was trying to console them, if they were indeed actors. She wondered why the man in the middle had his hair all over his face if he was just drunk. As these thoughts swirled in her mind, silence fell over the bus again. The elderly woman kept her eyes on the 3 people, watching them closely. Not much distance was left to Fragrant Hills, and they were almost there. The bus was back on its default route after taking a turn earlier. It was late at night and the bus was silent again. The driver was getting very sleepy and almost nodded off. He woke up suddenly when he saw a black cat cross the road. He immediately braked, and the elderly woman fell onto the young man. He asked if she was okay, but she just quietly went back to her seat. After a while, the elderly woman stood up again and started shouting that her purse was missing. She accused the young man in front of her of stealing it when the driver braked earlier. The young man was shocked and denied it, offering to let her search him. But the elderly woman slapped him, insisting he stole it. The conductor and the driver suggested they should get off the bus and go to the nearby police station to resolve it. During this time, the elderly woman heard the laughter of the faceless man. She and the young man got off the bus. The young man was scared, thinking they were going to the police station, but the elderly woman seemed relaxed, as if a huge burden had been lifted from her. The young man asked why she did all this, and she explained that she had saved his life by creating that drama. She then told him a story, saying that she had noticed something was wrong with the 3 people when they boarded the bus. She saw that the man in the middle had no face and the others had no legs, indicating they were paranormal entities. She created the drama to get them off the bus before they became their prey. Hearing this, the young man was very emotional and hugged her. He suggested they inform the police to save the driver and conductor. They went to the police, but the police didn't pay much attention. Disappointed, they left, thinking the driver and conductor couldn't be saved, but thankful they had survived. But the horror and mystery didn't end there. On November 14th, the bus left for its destination but never arrived. The police remembered the elderly woman and young man and searched for the bus on November 15th. They found CCTV footage of the bus until the stop where the elderly woman and young man got off, but nothing beyond that. The bus wasn't visible in any other footage, even though there were cameras everywhere. The next day, they found the bus submerged in a river 100 kilometers away from Fragrant Hills. When they pulled it out, they found 3 decomposed bodies inside: the driver, the conductor, and the man in the middle, dressed in old clothes. Shockingly, the bodies were completely decomposed in just 2 days, despite being in water. The bus had traveled 100 kilometers without stopping and without any fuel. There was no petrol left in the tank, only blood. No one has ever found answers to these questions. How did the bodies decompose so quickly? How did the bus travel so far without fuel? And why was there no footage of the bus beyond a certain point? This story remains an unsolved mystery, and the bus is said to still travel the same route every night, claiming new victims. So, guys, before I end this video, I want to remind you to always be cautious when traveling at night. Stick to known routes and be aware of who you're traveling with. And thank you for watching this video.